If you've clicked on this video to learn Jona Lewie's Stop the Cavalry, then you're in the right place. But you're not going to learn just a simple strummed version of it. You're going to learn it using a technique known as chord grabbing. We're going to grab those chords, and this is my attempt at trying to make the guitar sound a bit like the keyboard part of this song. I have had to fight almost every night down throughout these centuries. That is when I say, oh yes, yet again, can you stop the cavalry? Okay, so it's Christmas time, and here's my Christmas tune to add to the many others on YouTube. And this is Jona Lewie's Stop the Cavalry. But as I said at the beginning, we're not strumming it. I want to use a technique in which you grab the chords. And with this technique, your first three fingers, these three fingers will do the same thing throughout the song, but your thumb is going to do some sort of, is going to be playing the bass notes of the chords that you play. And the chords that you're going to need are A and E. Those are the two you're going to use the most. You're also going to use a G major and a D major too. All right, so let's look at the basic technique. And as I said, we're going to use these first, second and third fingers. And what those three fingers do is they're going to grab, the first finger is going to grab the G, second finger is going to grab the B, and the third finger is going to grab the high E string, the thinnest string. And basically you'll have a sound like this with the open strings, like that there. And what you're doing is just grabbing the same three strings all the time. Now if I put on the A chord, so this is our A chord, it's a 5-string chord, and we'll be grabbing, as you can see the chord is there, but the fingers, it's not going to change, they're not going to change. Like that, that's all it's going to do. And if I put on the E major chord, see the first three fingers keep playing the same thing. So what I want you to do, I want you to join in with me, and we're just going to play E and A. Sorry, we'll just play A and E chords, and it'll be one bar of A, one bar of E, and we'll go around that a couple of times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the basic idea of grabbing chords, or chord grabbing. Just first three fingers doing this with the top three strings. But what does the thumb do? Well, the thumb plays the lowest note of the chord. So if you look at the chord diagram here of the A major chord, you'll see you can play the top 5 strings. And the lowest note that you can play is the open A string. This one here, string 5. That's what the thumb's going to do. Just like that, right? And if you're playing the E major chord, and you see the chord shape, and there you can see that this low E string is the one that you're going to be playing. Now, the actual pattern itself is that the thumb plays on the beat. It plays 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the grabbed part is on the off beats, so on the and parts of the bar. So in a bar there are 4 beats, and we're going to be playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the ones are always going to be the thumb, and the ands will always be these 3 fingers here. So if we just take the A and the A chord, just stick with the A chord for a moment, and we'll just play it like so. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if you play along with me, we'll just play that A chord together for a moment. We'll do it a touch slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it's that sound that reminds me of the keyboard part of this Jona Lewie song. So if you listen to the record, you can hear dung jing, dung jing, dung jing, and that for me is dung jing. Maybe that makes no sense to you, but it makes perfect sense up here. Okay, so let's try putting A and E together. So 1 bar of A, no, 2 bars of A, sorry, and then 2 bars of E. To give you a chance to get used to what this hand is doing. Because the A and the E chord are 2 very common beginner guitar chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 nice sound, I think. So let's just play a bit of the song, and the first verse, we'll just go through that, and the chord progression is on the screen. And most of it is pretty simple. There is a part where, towards the end, where you will play a half a bar of A and a half a bar of E. So the change is a little bit quicker. But remember, these 3 fingers will do exactly the same. The thumb will have to change because when you're going from the A, your thumb is playing the 5th string, and then the E, your thumb is playing the E string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Hey, Mr. Churchill comes over here to say we're doing splendidly. But it's very cold out here in the snow, marching to and from the enemy. Oh, I say it's tough, I have had enough, can you stop the cavalry? So those are the verses, just that same chord progression. There are a couple of other parts that we're going to have a look at now. So there's a part that goes dubba dubba dum dum dubba dubba dum 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 da 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 dubba dubba dum dum. Now this is still the E and the A chords, but then it goes to a G chord. And the technique for playing the G, so if you play, that's the G chord there. This is how I play it. It doesn't matter how you play the G chord, whether you play it like this, or with all 4 fingers. It doesn't really matter. So the lowest note that you can use with your thumb is on the G string here. That note there is a G. And so your thumb is going to be playing that on the first beat. And of course your first, second and third fingers are going to be doing exactly the same. So it sounds like this. Then we also have a D major chord. So if we go from G to D, it's a 4-string chord, and the lowest note you're going to play is this open D string, which is like the bass note. And you have that same thumb, fingers, and these 3 fingers are doing all the grabbing. So 1, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So as you can see, the whole pattern is exactly the same with these 3 fingers. The only thing that's changing with all of these 4 chords is your thumb. So for the A major chord, your thumb is playing the 5th string. For the E and the G, your thumb is playing the low E string. So, and for the D major chord, the lowest note you're going to play is that D string, the open 4th string. So So we've got 3 open strings that you're playing for the A major and the E major and the D major. The only fretted note that you're playing with your thumb is that G major chord. So why don't we have a little run through of this song together. The chord progression is on the screen, and remember that it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the introduction to this song is basically the verse chords, but we're just going to go straight into the verse. When you're playing with your friends and impressing your family with this tune, start off with the intro, you know. Give yourself a bit of time to warm up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and hey Mr. Churchill comes over here to say we're doing splendidly. But it's very cold out here in the snow, marching to and from the enemy. Oh, I say stuff, I have had enough. Can you sing the cavalry? I have had to fight almost every night down throughout the centuries. That is when I say, oh yes, yet again, can you sing the cavalry? Mary Bradley waits at home fallout zone. Wish I could be dancing now in the arms of the girl I love. Wish I could be home for Christmas. One of my favourite Christmas songs there, always reminds me of when I was a young lad back home in London. You can actually use this technique with any chord that you're playing. So you could use it with the C major chord. Alright, and all you need to know is what is the lowest note, what is the bass note of the chord. And usually if you've got a good chord diagram book, it'll show you what is the low note, the lowest note. And for example, on the C major chord, it's that third finger on the A major, on the A string, sorry. And that note there is actually a C. And it also works for minor chords as well. So if you're playing A minor, it's very much the same as A major. If you're playing E minor, it's the same as if you were playing E major. And you can hear the difference. Major and minor. So this is a really good technique, and I think it's great for your fingers, fingerstyle type of playing. And it makes a change from just using a plectrum and strumming. I'm a big lover of using my fingers to play the guitar. And if you want more like this, check this link just here, more fingerstyle techniques for you to be working on. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy Christmas.